According to the Dalai Lama, the purpose of life is to seek happiness. Many people mistake pleasure for happiness. As a health educator, I say the first step to happiness is to have an optimal state of health. Good health is usually represented as freedom from illness. It also includes the ability to perform day-to-day functions without assistance or medication. But that's the easy part. An optimal state of health begins with a feeling of power to choose. The power to choose infers that you have options, that you perceive multiple possibilities and opportunities. This lends itself to a sense of hope and purpose. I use the term stuck to describe most people seeking out hypnotherapy. It generally means they have lost their sense of hope and purpose and want to get it back. Until they get it back, they are stuck, unable to move forward with their lives. I characterize that inability to move forward as suffering. In other words, it's the opposite of health. Assuming you have a reasonable state of physical health and you are breathing, suffering is the biggest hindrance to health and happiness. Like health, suffering also manifests in many different ways.
What is the difference between pain and suffering? Pain is a physiological response. Suffering is an emotional response. The greater the emotional energy you vest in pain, the more intense the suffering. For the most part, we are conditioned to believe that physical pain leads to suffering. But the converse is also true. Emotional suffering has the potential to bring about and intensify pain. For example, investing energy in things that bother you actually makes them more bothersome.
Margaret complained of a stiff neck. Further probing revealed a dysfunctional marriage whereby she described her spouse as being a pain in the neck. John had an ulcer. John was also terrified of his boss and complained of being sick to the stomach every time his boss asked to talk to him. Virginia, who complained of hemorrhoids, had an overbearing mother-in-law whom she described as being a pain in the...
Louise Hay, in her book, You Can Heal Yourself, charts how pain in different anatomical parts is related to suffering from life situations. For example, people with spinal problems often feel they receive little support from their loved ones, so there are multiple manifestations of this problem. Yet at base, suffering is perpetuated not by other people or by situations as much as by the energy you put into that suffering. The more you think or talk about suffering, the more you are aware of it. But neither can you try to ignore it. The energy continues to accumulate, eventually manifesting in illness and disease, and you wonder why you suffer.